Alright guys, before I start this video, I just want to let you know that I am no professional welder by any means. This is just for the hobbyist welder, or if you just have a small garage and you need to weld some things up like I do. The Motorworks garage right now, this Easy MIG 140 is going to be perfect for the shop. Once we get 220 ran, we can have a 220 arc welder, we can have a 220 MIG welder, but for now this is just perfect to just get started. Now, I don't have the right size steel right now. This is like 1/4 inch, 5/16, whatever. It's super thick. We don't get the right penetration. It's not penetrating all the way through the metal like you're supposed to be doing, but right now we're just trying to kind of stick some metal together, make sure I hooked everything up correctly in the welder, and make sure we can run some beads. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video, and hopefully you guys can actually start welding with your machine after watching this video. All right guys, stay tuned. Hey, beads are in box. Beads are in box. Come here, baby. Come on. Ladies and gentlemen, we gotta go lock up the house first before we leave. As I was saying, we got some goodies today for the garage. We got a surprise. We got the pups with us today. We got Mr. Beezer and we got the Boninator. Hey, Bon. And we are going to get the surprise. So we got a couple stops. I gotta get a sheet of OSB for the garage. No, you stay, Bonnie. We have to get some shielding gas. I don't know if that already tells you anything, but the title of the video probably already tells you too. But we gotta get some shielding gas and we gotta go get the surprise. So we got a couple stops today. We're gonna take the dogs with us so they can get out of the house. And other than that, today we're just gonna be kind of cleaning up the garage, getting that all organized, because I can get that sheet of OSB and get that cut down for the shelf and get off the ground. I'm gonna take you guys along with me, and you guys can see what I'm getting today, so stay tuned. All right, ladies and gents, we got the shielding gas for our wonderful machine here. Pretty sure it's over here. He said he's gonna set it out in the back for me. So we got the 100 cubic foot one, because I don't know how long it's gonna take me to weld. There it is right there, yep. I don't know how long it's gonna take me for all this, but yeah, we got it. I gotta put it in the truck. All right, we got the goods. On to our next stop. We gotta go to Home Depot, and we gotta get OSB, and we gotta get some Zeps or some Go Green or Simple Green, whatever it's called, for the next video when we clean the carbs on the YZ250F. So let's get to rolling. We got 2 more stops to go. We got the pups. We're gonna get some cheesy burgers afterwards for some being good doggies. Plains Farm and Fleet, we are here. Gotta go get my goodie. Gotta go find out where I gotta park and go and get this thing. Oh. We got it. We got it. Be in the back. Get in the back, Basil. Hi, Boninator. Were you a good girl for— no, Bonnie, in the— Boninator. Hey, no, in the back. Come on. Hey, in the back. Oh. All right, we got the surprise. I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but we're gonna go to Home Depot. Wait. We were supposed to go to Home Depot. We went to Blaine's instead to get this first. Now we're going to Home Depot, getting the wood, and we're going home, and I'll start unboxing the sucker. All right, 3rd stop is done. Oh, Bonnie, come on, Bon. Boninator, you gotta get in the back. In the back, no. Boninator, in the back. In the back. 3rd stop is done. We got our OSB. We got our little surprise. We got our shielding gas. We got some like cleaners and stuff for the next week's video. We're ready to roll. We're gonna get some grub for the pups. All right, let's get back home. Let's get this sucker unboxed. Alright guys, we finally bit the bullet. We bought the Lincoln Electric Easy MIG 140. I don't need anything special in the shop right now because I don't have 220. I've only used, the only other MIG welder that I've used is a Miller-Matic 135, so they're basically the same thing, just Miller and a Lincoln Electric. This thing is going to be perfect for a little shop right now until I can get some 220 and get a 220 arc welder. Going to the shop, but this is going to be perfect for just basic stuff. We need anything up to 1/4 inch steel is what I'm welding, so I don't need anything bigger than 120 right now until later on. Once I can get it 220, I can get a bigger MIG welder and an arc welder. But this is perfect for me. It's the Easy MIG 140, so it comes with everything you need other than the gas, but you don't need the gas because with this, it comes with some flux core wire, so you don't need any shielding gas for it, and this is 0.35 wire, and then it also comes with just some 0.25 mild steel MIG wire. So this is the stuff you need shielding gas for. So what I bought from Baker's Gas here out of Jackson, Michigan, 75-25 argon gas. So it is 75% argon. I'm pretty sure it's 75% argon, 25% oxygen. Maybe, I'm not for sure. I'm not, like I said, I'm no professional at welding at all. I haven't welded in like a year. So we're gonna hopefully be able to find some metal around the shop, start running some beads, and hopefully get my little feel back for welding. But yeah, it comes with everything you need. So it comes with 2 different styles of wire. I normally run 0.30, just the mild steel MIG wire. But this is a little bit smaller, but this is okay. It's definitely, you can definitely use this for anything that you need. So you get the 2 types of different wire. You get your grounding wire here with your clamp to clamp on your metal, so you can actually weld. So here's your clamp. This is the only time it's going to look this nice. So you get those 2 together. You get your line going from your shielding gas to your tank, and then you also get your welding line here. This is what I call just the welding line with your gun. So that also comes in your kit here, and you also get a nozzle, and you get some other different size wire, so like 0.30, 0.35, 0.25, stuff like that. And then it also comes with your gauges for on your tank, so to show how much flow of gas you're getting. This thing, I got it, the only reason I bought this over a Miller right now is because I mean, I'm not really brand specific, but I've always used Miller and I liked how they are, so I was kind of leaning towards Miller. But I want to try this Lincoln Electric just to see how it is. You know, I've used a Lincoln Electric arc welder as well, and I mean, it does the job perfectly fine. So I'm not really brand specific, but I was looking for the best deal. I did find this at Blaine's Farm and Fleet for $570. They're normally on sale, or they're normally priced at $650. So out the door, I paid $604 for this. And then for the tank, I bought 100 cubic inches of the shielding gas. Normally you can get 40, 60, or 80 as well, and it's a lot cheaper. But I think altogether for the tank, I bought the tank outright for I think $211, and then to fill it up, I paid $40. And then after tax and all that, it came out to be $298. So pretty much, I paid about $900, little over $900 for this whole setup, which is, I mean, for a MIG welder, $900 with all the shielding gas. It's pretty good, I guess. If you want to go out and get a all 3 set together, you can get MIG, TIG, and ARC all together. It's going to cost you upwards for just the MIG and TIG, or MIG and ARC. I think for Lincoln Electric is like $1,800 for all 3 of them together. It's $2,500 just for this. So for $1,000 for you get your welding gas and this, I think it was a pretty good deal. But other than that, we're going to find some metal around the shop, get everything hooked up, and see if I can actually lay some beads. So let's see what I can do.
Alright, so we finally got the Easy MIG 140 up on a table, so we're going to bust open the side here that exposes everything out on the inside of the machine. You're going to take off the 2 hand knobs here, and you're going to take your wire and move it from the negative terminal to your positive terminal. I'm pretty sure that's just from if you want to weld with aluminum, or if you want to weld with steel, you got to switch those around. So when it comes in the package, it's on the negative terminal. You have to switch it to the positive. I'm pushing the wire just a little bit forward to make sure there's enough room for the ground wire to go on. But next we're going to take the ground wire, put it through the front of the machine. I tried going onto the front of the wire, but it was just kind of awkward and it wasn't going to seat right on the terminal, so I went to the back side of it. You can do it however you like. If it's hooked up differently, which I'm guessing they're all the same, you're probably going to have to go around the back side of the wire as well. But get that onto your terminal, on the negative terminal, and you're just going to take your hand knob there and you're just going to crank it back on. You don't have to get them super tight, just get it to where they're getting a good connection, and everything will be able to hook up and you'll be able to use your machine correctly. So yeah, just snug them up a little bit. You can see I'm just doing it hand tight. You don't got to use a wrench or anything. Next we're going to take our clamp. We're going to thread off the nut from the bolt on the top. This is copper and it is very soft, so just be careful whenever you're threading it back on. You're going to take the ground wire there, ground wire, put it on the top of your bolt. on the stud and take your nut and put it back on there, and just take a crescent wrench and tighten it down. Like I said, just be very easy on it. It is copper and it's a soft metal, so just make sure you don't strip it. On the gun as well, or on the clamp, there is that little hole you can thread it through so it doesn't get caught. But we are going to go into the inside of the machine again, take off the hand knob, and we're going to take off the little plastic bushing. This is where your spool of wire is going to go. This is where the wire gets fed through the machine, gets ran through. You're going to open that clamp up. There's a bearing in there. That clamp on the right, it shows like 2, 3, 4, 5 for tightness. It says to keep it at 3. But yeah, we're going to unloosen this hand knob. We're going to take off this little fitting here, and it has the 0.35 for the wire on the outside, and then the 0.25 wire on the inside of it. All you have to do is flip it around. As you can see, this one shows the 0.35. The wire runs on the outside, so I turn mine around to the 0.25 because that's what wire I'm using for the shielding gas. The 0.35 wire that comes with the machine is made for the flux core. That's not for that you don't need the shielding gas for. So it is kind of hard to get on. Just work it in there nice and easy. Don't force it. If you do, you might break something, but you're going to take the hand knob, put it back on. Next, we're going to get to the wire. We're going to take the wire out of the little hole there. It is bent, and in the instructions it says cut off about 2 inches from the end because of that bend. You want to make sure that there's no kinks or bends in the wire, that it's wrapped on the spool very nice, and you want to hold on to the actual spool when you take that wire out of the hole on the spool, because it will unravel and become like a big bird's nest. So you're going to thread the wire spool onto the spring-loaded pulley kind of system there. Make sure you hold on to the spool still, and when you feed your wire through the little inner lining, just make sure you hold on to it, and you can kind of see it running on that spacer right there where I switched it around. It was kind of running off the edge, and it wasn't going into the actual lining on the other side where the brass fitting is on the left. But yeah, just nice and slow. Don't bend the wire, and it'll just slide right in there. So yeah, we're going to thread it through just to the front of the machine where you can see it. You're going to go back and put that plastic bushing on, and you're going to get the hand knob and crank it on there. It is spring loaded, so once you actually start running the machine and plugging it in, you can adjust that to make sure it's not too hard for the machine to pull it. I had to adjust mine to loosen up a little bit, but don't get it too loose where it just starts back spooling and makes a big bird's nest. So on the brass fitting on the front here, there's a little hand knob to secure your gun and your line. Inside the machine, there is 2 O-rings that go in there and seat to let the gas flow through and not have any leaks. So this part on your actual end of the line, this is the electrical part that says when you're pulling the trigger to like let it go or let it go out or let it stay. So you need to have that plugged in. Make sure it's actually in there. You do have to use some force and pull the machine and kind of get it in there. But when you open up the top of your handle and the bearing right there, that is what I was doing to hold the actual line so it wouldn't move and unspool off your spool. So when you pull it through your machine here, you want to just make it go to the front of the machine and expose itself, so you can actually put it through the actual line. You can see that it's running out of the machine right now. And I'm going to take and grab onto that and hold onto it, but the actual plastic bushing is holding into the spool so it doesn't back spool. And I'm going to just put it into the end of the gun and hold onto it from there. And then once you go back into the inside of your machine, take that bearing and that clamp and close it so then it can actually stay and hold on to the wire so it doesn't back spool on your spool. And then you're just going to slide your line up into the machine. You can see those 2 O-rings. They're like a tannish color. That is what keeps the gas from getting out into the air and not having any shielding gas. But you're going to have to use some force. Make sure both O-rings get seated. You can see I'm pulling on the machine and pushing it in. It is needed because it is hard to go in. But once it's in there, you pretty much don't have to take it out. Other than when you want to switch, if you want to do aluminum welding or something like that. So you're going to take that hand knob, put it back in there to seat down on the end of your line there to make sure it doesn't come out or get pulled out if you try yanking on it or you're too far away from the machine when you're welding. So next we're going to bust into those nozzles and the extra fittings. You're going to just have some extra fittings. You're going to have that one nozzle on the end of your gun that comes with this plastic housing. Just take that off, and all you're going to do is like take some pliers or something and just take off this fitting on the end. This is a 0.35 for that flux core wire. I think they had it set up for just the flux core, but yeah, I'm switching over to the shielding gas, so I need the 0.25. So next we're going to leave that out though. Don't put the fitting back in there. So you're going to plug in your machine, you're going to turn it on, you're going to hear the fan kick on, and you're going to just start pretty much welding from there. So it's not a whole lot of steps after this. You just turn it to number 5 for your wire speed. This is what they say in the instructions, and you just start pulling the trigger. So I'm checking back and forth to see if it's going. You want to be careful because in your machine sometimes it could cause a bird's nest where it's too tight and it won't let the thing roll, or it'll let the spool just unspool itself, and that's why everything is kind of important to make sure that you have it loose or just right. But yeah, you can just let it run through. You want the wire to just run through your line on the end until it comes out the end of your gun. It does take a while, so just kind of be patient and figure it out. I was going back and forth and making sure it was working, and it does take a while. So you can kind of see that at the end it was coming out of my gun right there. I didn't even realize it, and I have a whole bunch coming out. You don't need that far. All you need is a couple inches, but just keep watching it and watching the wire. So I cut it off about 2 inches maybe. And this is when you put your fitting back on. So this is going to be the 0.25. I was trying to show the camera, but it's just too faint on the copper fitting. But yeah, 0.25 wire or 0.25 fitting. Once you get it on to the actual wire, you want to make sure that you don't put this on when you're sending the wire through your actual gun, because it's kind of hard to get it through and it might get stuck, and that's what causes your bird's nest. So you want to push that liner into the gun. It was kind of poking out there, you could see, but just force your thing on there and start twisting it. Don't strip your threads. Make sure it's actually getting threaded on there, but once it's actually tight, you don't gotta like crank it on there with a pair of pliers. Just hand tight is pretty good. Then just put your nozzle on. So once you get that on there, you want to cut the wire. It says 3/8 of an inch away from the end of the nozzle. I just took my clippers and I just cut it a certain amount because you're going to be welding at different heights. So next you're going to go up to your shielding gas tank, and you're just going to unscrew the safety cap here. This is so if it falls over, tips over, it doesn't hit that valve on the top and makes the thing shoot everywhere and kill somebody. So next you're going to take your gauges here. You're going to screw it on. When you get everything tightened up and turn on your gas and everything, you want to spray everything with soap and water to make sure you have no leaks, because then you're not going to get the right amount of shielding gas to the welding piece that you're welding on, and it's just going to have porosity and bubbles and stuff. But to tighten that up, just take a crescent wrench, snug it up, and make sure, yeah, you have no leaks. Just soapy water, spray it on there. Next, we're going to take our gas line. We're going to hook it up to the actual gauges there. And later on, I adjust my whole gauge cluster after the video and stuff to make sure like the wire is, or like the hose is like pointed down and not pointing out. And I kind of just had it so you guys could see everything. But yeah, just take that, snug it up. It is brass, so it's a soft metal, so you don't have to reef on it, but just make sure it is tight. We're going to take the other end of the hose here, put it up to the back of the machine, and tighten that up with a crescent wrench as well. Like I said, again, put soapy water on there, make sure there's no leaks, because if there's not, you're not going to have the right amount of shielding gas, and you're going to have a lot of porosity, and your welds are going to look like crap. So just make sure there's no leaks at all. That is the most important part about this.
All right, so we finally got the welder all hooked up. Just to throw a red flag out here for you guys. Before you start welding and doing anything, if you have it set up like I do, you guys saw how I set up the welder, how I set up the actual shielding gas to the welder. If you have a welding cart, use it and have everything together. With me right now, how it's sitting, I'll show you guys. The welding or the shielding gas tank is just kind of sitting there with nothing holding it to the wall. There's no cart that's holding it. If this falls over and tips over, the valve on the top here can either hit the ground and release from the tank and break from the tank, and the tank will just go shooting somewhere and either kill somebody or severely hurt somebody. So if I turn this, and it kind of pulls the end over, it could make it tip over. So I'm just throwing a red flag out here to show you guys just to take caution when doing this and make sure the thing doesn't tip over, and always have it secure. So I'm going to try and find something to hook it to the wall, just so I have a, if I'm welding, and I actually hit the table and it hits this, it doesn't make the whole thing fall over and just ruin my whole operation here. So yeah, I'm just taking caution. I'm just making sure that everything is secure. So I'm going to hopefully find something to hook to the wall for the tank. And then we do have a welding hood. And I got this off Amazon. I don't recommend this one. It was like 30 bucks. I would rather go to Harbor Freight and get their like $40 or $50 one. I just don't really like the hood, and I mean the actual like thing that hooks to your head is okay, but I just really don't like the hood or the actual lens. So yeah, if you guys can, go to just Harbor Freight and get yourself a welding helmet.
All right, we're going to plug this sucker in, get ready to weld. On the top of your tank, you're going to open up the valve, and once you open it, you can see all the gauges open. So one gauge on the top right there by my hand shows how much shielding gas is getting out of the tank and going to your material and out of the end of your gun, and the other one on the right hand side shows how much gas is still left in your tank. So when you adjust this, you see the needle on the top moving up from the 10, and it keeps going. That means it's shooting out more shielding gas, and then the less I go,
So laying around the shop, we found these thick pieces of metal here. These things are like 3/8 of an inch thick. So this welder says it can weld up to about 5/16. So 3/8, you know, I mean, it's not really, it's just kind of under 3/8. So we should be able to weld and penetrate this pretty well, but we're not really looking for penetrations. I mean, we are, but we aren't. We're just looking to kind of stick some metal together and see how it works and get to know the machine. Like I told you, I haven't welded anything in about a year, so I need to get my kind of groove back and just kind of figure the machine out and see where everything needs to be. But yeah, we're gonna hopefully stick two of these pieces together and I don't know, just get our legs back for welding. So let's kind of look at the chart on the inside of the welder and see what we can come up with for some machine or some settings here. So when we flip open the machine, we've got this little chart on the side here. And let's see here, we've got some 5/16. See, 3/8 down here is it doesn't have anything for it, so it's going to be a little thick for what we're kind of doing. So let's kind of just go up to 1/4 inch. Actually, they don't got anything either here. Actually, let's see here for 30. Well, we're using 25. So let's see here, wire diameter, and let's see here. I guess we're just going to go up to 3/16 here and use 7D. Let's see what that does, and we can stick some steel together. So I've got it set at D, and then if you come over here to 7 is going to be our, this is going to be our wire speed, and then this is going to be our voltage. So I guess we're going to be going up to max voltage here. So let's just take it down to C, just so we're not like maxing this thing out right now. Let's just do C, see what it does. And I'm gonna go with just maybe probably 5, you know, just to see what it's doing. And then if I need to do faster wire speed or, you know, more voltage, you can tell that it's you're welding cold steel still. Then yeah, we'll go from there. I don't know if this will hang off or not. Now this is without prepping any metal, no grinding, no nothing. There's probably some porosity or whatever on here. But yeah, this is like no prep, no nothing. We're just gonna see if we can stick these two pieces together. Now at the end, they're kind of welded, so my gap is, there's like a little tiny gap, maybe a 1/16 of an inch, but that's okay because wire will be able, steel will be able to like get into that gap. So let's get our welding hood on here. Let's get our gun. We got this going, and yeah, let's see what we can do. Alright, so after looking at our little bead that we ran here, just to see if we can lace some metal, we are definitely getting a bunch of shielding gas out there. You can see that there's no really bubbles or anything in it. It definitely did not penetrate the metal at all. You don't see any kind of, it's not even really warm on this side. I can kind of put my hand on it, and if you can see, there's a lot of metal sitting on the top of the steel. So this isn't really the ideal thing for the start to welding because of how thick it is. I'd like to go with a little bit thinner metal, but this is what I got in the shop, so this is what we're going to deal with for now. But yeah, it definitely works. We're definitely laying a bead here, so I'm going to kind of get in a better welding position and see what I can do with, see if I can run a couple more beads along here and just see if I can just start practicing and stuff. And I'll get back to you guys once I kind of got everything situated, see how much shielding gas is going to the gun and stuff like that. So, all right, guys, so we've got the machine at the recommended for 5/16 or whatever. So we've got it set at where the voltage is D, so the max it can do, and then we've got set at 7 for your wire speed. So we're gonna be going with that. We've got a kind of like a bevel. I took my grinder here and got some different blades, and I kind of just grinded out a small little like channel. And you can see there's a little gap there. So we're just gonna kind of get it in there, you know, make it as best as we can with the stuff we've got, and just see what it can do. See if we can get a little bit better penetration, and then we will be welding to the edge here, so we can see if if it actually, how far it kind of is penetrating, and see what the what color the metal changes and stuff. So let's try welding it up and see what it does. All right, well, I blew a fuse, so I'm welding at max voltage, so I don't know, it must have just been too much for it. So I guess we're gonna turn it down to the C and see what that does, because yeah, like I said, this is like, I don't know, you can't, I already know you can't weld at like max voltage for very long, except I guess with my set, because I know it's like 115, 120 or whatever, but I don't know. I don't know why I really blew the fuse. I knew when I was welding with my dad's welder before, if you have it at a high voltage for a really long time, it'll keep blowing your fuse. So yeah, that's why I had to stop, but my wire got stuck to the steel there, so cut that off. Let's try C, the voltage for C, and see what that's doing. So I'm going to turn this light off so I can have a little bit more power. Welder's on. Hood's on. Let's see what we can do. Alright, so as you guys can see, the little bit that I'm welding here on this thick plate, it's not really, I got a whole bunch of extra metal on the top, so it's not ideal at all. And you can see on the edges here that there's really no penetration except for me kind of like welding to the edge. So this isn't really I mean, this is actually way too thick for this welder. I'm just, like I said, I'm just trying to see if I can actually weld again and make sure I still kind of got it. So, but yeah, I'm gonna hopefully find some thinner steel and make another video about this, but this is pretty much just the video of setting it up and actually using it for the first time, so it's no biggie. But yeah, we're gonna start running some more beads with it. Alright, so for me doing a couple more welds here, you know, the piece is definitely getting hot for sure. It's definitely putting down some heat. It is still not like protruding through the entire piece of metal. You can see like there's not even, you don't even see any like burn, any other different like discoloration of the metal on this side, but I've been kind of messing around with the different settings and stuff. And right now I got it set on C for the voltage, so it goes up from A, B, C, D. I got it on C, and then I got it set on 6 right now for the wire speed. So if I can put it down here, this bead right here is the last bead that I just ran, and I mean, it looks pretty decent. It's definitely not straight, but I mean, that's pretty much as best I can get with this thick of metal. So yeah, for right now, this thing definitely welds. You can definitely stick some metal together. If you go for some thicker metal, it might not be the most ideal, but it will definitely weld. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. Hopefully you guys could follow along, figure this thing out, and get your welder all hooked up. Like I said, this is the Lincoln Electric. It's the Easy MIG 140, so it's a great little welder for a small shop like this. And if you're just doing some hobby welding or whatever, I would not recommend this one. If you're, I mean, obviously if you're a professional welder, you got something totally different. You wouldn't even be watching this video, but yeah, it's something super great for just some basic welding and stuff. I mean, like 1/8 inch, you know, 1/4 inch is probably the most I would go with this stuff. Like this is really thick metal for this. So this is pretty much like, this is way too thick for what I'd go. But I mean, 1/8 inch, you know, is like great for welding if you're making like something small with tubing or some square tubing or a frame or something like that. Like I got some square tubing over here that I'm going to make a welding cart out of, and it's going to be perfect for it. So I'll show you guys the metal that I got over there and the size that I've got. But other than that, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys can hook up your welder and get to welding. I'm super excited because it's another tool that I can use in the garage here, and a lot more resources and a lot more videos to bring to you guys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys enjoy your welder, and I'll see you guys in the next video of Motorworks Garage. Catch you guys later.